Okay, I'm going to talk about the incentive system again. It's just, it's human behavior. It's very interesting looking at how rewarding certain behavior will drive a person's activity or will drive a certain input, right? If you know you're going to get something for doing something, you're going to, you're going to value what that reward is, and you're going to potentially work to achieve it. Now, if you have to work like a lot and there's no light at the end of the tunnel, or there's no pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, to use some of those analogies, then people will rationally look at that and they will change their behavior. They're not going to put in a bunch of effort if there's no reward at the end of it, right? So I find it really interesting because it's just human psychology. It's people making decisions about how they're going to manage their time, what they're going to put their effort into, how hard they're going to try to do something based on what they're going to receive. I love to look at like commission type positions. If you're looking at like a job or a career, real estate agents are like the most interesting thing to me because they are incentivized to sell houses, obviously, to sell houses or to buy, to be linked up with someone who's qualified, who wants to buy a house. They oftentimes can be incredibly desperate, very desperate. Why are they desperate? Because they have chosen a career or an occupation in which they get paid absolutely nothing. They get $0 unless there's a transaction that takes place, right? Zero, nothing, zilch, nada, nothing. So most jobs, you're doing work, you're showing up, you're doing activity, you're responding to people, you're doing whatever you do on a daily basis, and you get paid an amount of money. Maybe you get paid a bonus based on how well you're doing or how well the company's doing, but the majority of your pay is, guaranteed. They're paying you for your time, they're paying you for the services that you're doing. You look at like a real estate agent, you look at like maybe a stockbroker, you look at maybe salespeople. A lot of these positions, you will not get paid anything unless you're selling your product or you're doing a transaction, right? So they get incredibly desperate. They have to be selling a house. They have to be buying a house. Otherwise, they're not going to be getting paid anything. So they do get paid pretty good, or more than most people would make when they do sell something. But a lot of the decision making behind, is someone going to buy this house or is someone going to sell this house, really has nothing to do with the agent. When interest rates are low and housing prices are somewhat affordable, there can be a lot of transactions taking place. So, the real estate agent will, as long as they have a decent amount of contacts, they can do a lot of transactions and they can make good money. But in today's environment, interest rates are historically a little bit high, at least over the past little bit. They're higher than they have been, and housing prices are very high. So the transactions, like this, the amount of transactions that are taking place are way down, and that is the paycheck, that is the food for the real estate agent and all the people that make loans, the mortgage officers and the housing inspectors, and all the people that are involved in the transactions of real estate, right? They are not seeing the same amount of transactions, so they are not eating. They are not making the same amount of money. And a lot of that has nothing to do with, it doesn't have a lot to do with them. It's just the market conditions. People don't have the confidence or the resources or the budget to be able to transact, right? People that own homes right now at a 3% interest rate, they don't really want to sell their house because, they have a low interest rate. So their monthly mortgage cost or their monthly expenses is relatively low. And then new people that don't own a home, that are considering to come in and buy a house, they have to compete with housing prices that have gone way up. They have to compete with a higher interest rate, a higher cost to borrow. So what used to be maybe a $1,600 mortgage is now $2,500, $2,500, $2,800 a month, and it's pricing people out. So the real estate agent isn't having the buyers. The real estate agent isn't having the sellers. Because why would you sell your house right now, right? Unless unless you absolutely had to sell your house right now, most people aren't going to do it, because they have to. The problem is you got to live somewhere, right? So you have to live somewhere. So if you sell your 3% mortgage rate, you got to go buy a 6% mortgage rate or a 7% mortgage rate. Now, some people will do that because they have enough cash and it doesn't matter. They'll just pay for their house in cash and they don't have to deal with an interest rate. But a lot of people, I think, are just locked in. They're not gonna trade away their 3 or 4% interest rate to get into a 6-7% interest rate on a different house. They're just losing. They'd be losing a lot of money doing that. So that whole industry to me, though, with the real estate agent, it's just so dog eat dog. They want to just attach themselves to your transaction, and I hear a lot of real estate agents really don't know what they're doing anyway. They're just trying to make a commission. They think it's kind of easy to just be the person that's involved in the transaction of the home, right? Because they're not, they know people have to buy houses. They know people have to sell houses. And so they're just looking to make $25,000 or $15,000 every time someone buys or sells a house. And it's a really easy type job when things are going well. Like when there's a lot of people that want to buy houses and everyone's qualified and housing prices are lower and interest rates are lower. You don't really have to do much. You can just, buy some ads on Zillow and, basically start printing money that way. But in an environment where not many people can afford to buy homes, you're not going to be doing well. And the desperation from these people is just like, you sign up for something on a website, you get all these automated emails. Like I have so many of them because over the years you put random information on websites and they sell your information to all these different real estate agents and whatnot. And you get all these random generated emails from these agents who I've never spoken to, and they want, they think that you own a home. They think that you want to sell your house. They're saying it's been a while since we've talked, and most of them you've never even talked to, right? So it's just an automated system. They're fishing. They're trying to throw out a line and hope they get someone that they can take advantage of. Oh, do you own a home? Do you want to sell your home? Are you interested in a cash offer? And all of those things, or even the phone calls, right? Let's just say I never filled anything out online, but you get random phone calls, right? And if you don't own a home, sometimes you still get phone calls and they're asking about a property that somehow got lined up with your name and if you'd want to sell the house. And, they're going to try to sell your information to someone that's going to try to make you a lowball offer, right? Because they're looking for desperation. They're looking for people that are desperate, that need the money, that they're going to try to give you a lowball offer. They don't want you to put your property on, like the public market. They just want to take it off of your hands for like a cash offer I guarantee it's going to be a lowball offer because that's how they make their money, is looking for people that are desperate. And so I don't know. It's, I can appreciate the fact that you want to reach out to people and you want to try to facilitate a transaction. But the desperation in these people's voices and in their activity is so obvious because they've chosen a profession or they've chosen a career in which they don't give a shit about you unless you're going to do something with them, right? And it's I remember talking to one or two agents in Florida. I was calling about a couple houses down there, and they just didn't give a shit. They said, basically, I don't care who you are. They just cut right to the chase. Are you qualified? Are you pre-approved? And what house are you looking at? I mean, that's it. Like, they don't care. They're only going to talk to you as long as you are qualified and if you're someone that they deem is going to buy a house quickly. Otherwise, they cut bait and they don't care. And that was the majority of any of the ones I've spoken to. I mean, I don't blame them for it, but part of it is, if you don't take at least 5 minutes to try to get to know someone, especially in a real estate type profession, they're not going to care about you, right? They're probably not going to, want to do business with you unless you just get lucky, right? And some of the agents do get lucky. You just get someone that comes through, they're a lead for you, maybe you're spending marketing dollars or whatever, and then they end up buying a house with you. But they were going to buy a house regardless. So you just got lucky. They were going to buy that house whether it was with you or whether it was with Joe Schmo. They didn't care who it was. So I think the better agents, you got to be genuine. You got to take at least 5-10 minutes, try to learn a little bit about someone before you just go into, the transaction. And that's how it came off to me. I'm like, shit, I don't want to talk to this person. They don't give a shit about me. They don't care. They don't even ask about what I do. They don't ask about, why are you thinking about moving here? Where do you live? Where are you from? What's your situation? None of that. They just want to know, are you qualified? Do you want to look at this house? And I want to make my commission this month. And that's it. And that, people don't like that. Obviously I know people have to make money. They have to eat. But when you're in a job that is very relationship oriented and is centered around having good relationships and, being like a trusted advisor for someone, when you're just saying, here's the contract, sign it here, are you ready to go? I mean, this is a house, right? It's not like you're buying car insurance here. This is like probably the most important decision of someone's life, or at least the top 2 or 3, because it's a lot of money. It's a big decision. You're deciding where you're going to want to live. You're making a big financial commitment. And, the person on the other end of the phone they don't care about that. I mean, they obviously, you only care about your own interest. You have to look at things from their perspective too. It's like, I only care about Josh if he's going to buy a house from me. Otherwise, I don't want to talk to him. It's the same with a lot of salespeople. Once they've determined that you're maybe kind of not going to buy something right now, they will just move on from you. And I don't know. They obviously have their own quotas to meet. They were concerned about making their own money, but sometimes you have to slow down a little bit and, let someone talk a little bit, let them give you a little bit more information. And even if they're not ready to do something right now, it's like, hey, I'm not going to be an asshole to this person. I'm not just going to basically, when someone walks into a store, right? If you're trying to sell anything, you don't just go right up to them and say, do you want to buy this? Like, no, you say, hey, how's it going? What brings you in? What are you looking for? Is there any questions you have? Let me know, right? And you kind of let them talk to you a little bit and you get some more information. And maybe they are ready to go. Okay. If they're ready to go, great. You spent 5 or 10 minutes building some good rapport with them. And now if something is going to happen, you've given yourself a good chance to win that business. Let's say they're not ready to go. Okay, they're not ready to go. You spent 5 or 10 minutes. You give them your business card or whatever. You get their information. You put them on the marketing campaign or whatever you have. Okay, and maybe it's 3 years, maybe it's 5 years, maybe it's 10 years before they end up doing something, whether it's buying a house or whatever. But you have their information. You spent 10 minutes getting to know them. You showed that you were at least interested in learning a little bit about them. You let them ask you a question or two. You didn't make any money today, okay? You didn't sell them a house, but you got their information. You learned about them. If and when they do something, maybe you get that opportunity. What did it cost you? 5 minutes, 5 or 10 minutes, right? And that's just being a good human being. And a lot of them just won't do that. A lot of salespeople in general won't do that. They don't care. They only care right now if you're going to help. I only care about you if you're going to make me money right now. Otherwise, fuck you. Screw you. I don't want to talk to you, right? And that's the mentality that I can't stand, because it's so one-sided. They're only thinking about themselves. Like, I want to take advantage of you right now. And if I can't take advantage of you, I want to go take advantage of someone else, and I'm not going to be decent to you or reasonable to you. And I've been in sales, so I know how it is, right? But I don't even think it's about selling anything. I really don't. I don't think it's about, trying to push your product or narrative on someone. I think it's literally just about having a decent connection with someone on a human to human level. And then that's it. And then if they like you, they'll decide to potentially do something with you. But someone who was never going to, or someone that was going to do something, if they don't like you, they might not do it. Okay. But if they do like you, they'll probably do it with you, whenever that is. But if they don't like you, they're not going to buy from you. A large percentage of people, if they do not like you, or they don't feel like you were reasonable or were just being decent with them, they might buy it with someone else, right? Or they just might not buy it at all because you turned them off. So that's that's always been my kind of standard operating. It's just, hey, I'm not gonna try to push my narrative on you. I'm gonna answer any questions you have, right? But ultimately, you kind of have to be the one that wants to do something, and I'm going to help facilitate that. But not going to push something down your throat. I'm not going to try to just disqualify you immediately, like a lot of people would do, because they're only interested in making money. And just try to be a decent person. Like I said, it takes 5 minutes probably, where you could ask a couple questions about someone, let them talk about themselves a little bit, give them the floor. People really like to talk about themselves, and they'll become a lot more comfortable around you if you just kind of nod your head. Oh yeah, that's cool. Oh, you're from there. Nice. What brings you up here? Oh, you're looking for a house. Okay. Well, you've lived there for how long? Oh, and you have a wife. Okay. Where did you guys meet? You have any kids? Blah, 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 blah. 5 minutes. You get your information. You move on, right? And that's just being a good person. It actually helps you to be a good person and just take a genuine interest in people, right? It doesn't have to be 20 minutes. It doesn't have to be an hour. Like if it gets that long, then you can be a professional and say, hey, I got another meeting I have to get to. It's been nice talking with you, but I got to run. Let me get your information, and if you have any questions or if anything changes, let me know, right? But just in general, a lot of people don't do that. They're so focused on how they're going to get paid that they kind of abandon just being a good person. And the reason they do that is because the pressure is on them. The pressure's on them. They know if they don't do something, if they don't make a sale, they ain't getting paid. And so that's the problem with the pure commission type jobs, is that there's pressure to just sell. And if you're not qualified, I don't want to talk to you. So it's tough. You guys let me know what you think. I'm rambling again for like 18 minutes about this, but it's an interesting topic. And if you made it to the end, wow, good job. And subscribe for more. Have a good day. We'll see you on the next one.